welcome to the Game 3 post-game show right here on the Variety Sports Network. My name is Brandon, and with me is Aaron tonight. We'll be talking a little bit about Game 3 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers of the Stanley Cup Finals right now. Florida gets a 4-1 or 4-3 win over the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Oilers attempt to come back in the late, or I guess I didn't say late in the third, but in the third period. After Florida jumped out on them early. Aaron, what's your initial thoughts on Game 3?
Well, Florida was dominating so much that I did not watch the third period, and I actually went on Variety Sports Network, 7th inning stretch, watch that show, check that one out, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. So I was checking them out, and then all of a sudden I look, and it's 4-3. I'm like, dang. But no, another dominant performance by Florida, and the problem with Edmonton is they're shooting the puck in the wrong spot. They're supposed to shoot the puck in the 5-hole because Bobrovsky gets a little discombobulated when that happens.
Yeah. It was here my first thought was I thought this was a game not dominated, but played better by the Oilers, and I thought they had the time of possession was better for the Oilers the whole game. I thought they controlled the puck better throughout the game. I thought they were in Florida's offensive side more than Florida was in the Edmonton offensive side of the game tonight. That's just my thoughts where I was with it. Somebody else watching it might think differently. That's just where I thought Edmonton had more control, where Florida just capitalized on some mistakes, like the Tarasenko goal. They made it 2-1, I believe it was.
Yep, and I put on my Twitter account that anybody could have scored that goal.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. I can't believe Stuart Skinner couldn't stop that one.
Yeah, that was not such a great play from Stuart there. But I don't want to say it happens because it shouldn't happen at this time of the year. But you get those kind of mistakes. That's what it is. What stuck out the most to you on the floor on the Panthers side from tonight's Game 3?
I think for me that stood out was that Matthew Tkachuk was actually starting to come alive, and it's really not a surprise just because he was with Calgary when he started. And the fact that he just kind of picked up where he left off up in Canada kind of helped out the team. Plus, I feel like the Panthers were more physical, right, and they were also stopping Edmonton in the middle of the zone. So the problem with Edmonton in this is that when they're on a power play and the Panthers are on a penalty kill, the Oilers will go around in a circle. So all the Panthers have to do is, I'm just going to stay in the middle. And they were doing that for most of the game whenever Edmonton was on a power play. So pretty much they were just looking sharp, especially on that long road trip.
Yeah, so you get a Sam Reinhart goal to start things off in the first period. A pretty uneventful first period, I would say. It was a little like you said, it was a little more physical from the Florida Panthers than we saw in Florida, and I think that might have to do a little bit with them playing on the road. I don't know if you saw it as well, but I saw a little bit difference in play from the Florida Panthers, where at home they're a little bit more fast paced. They're still in your face tonight, but not as much. They kind of sit back a little bit more when they're playing on the road compared to their home games, where they're a little more fast paced. They're up in the action. They're forechecking a little bit more, trying to get the pucks in deep. I didn't necessarily see that a whole bunch tonight. Again, somebody else might have seen something different.
You're not wrong.
I feel like they sat back a little bit more in this one compared to Game 1 and 2.
Yeah, they definitely did until I didn't see the third period, but I'm assuming they definitely laid back in the third period. And I think too, once they got that 1-0 lead, they're probably like, we can just secure it, just because Edmonton, they're not really rushing as much, and they didn't really stop anything on their blue line. Like their blue line was just completely irrelevant tonight.
Yeah. They you get another not so great game from Darnell Nurse as well in tonight's game. Overall, though, the Edmonton Oilers just looked slow to start the game. I understand. I get it. You're playing at home. It's the first time that the Stanley Cup Final has been there since 2006. So people are excited. There's a lot going on in that stadium itself. The energy, you could feel it through the TV, or through the radio, however you're watching it tonight. You could feel the energy at Rogers Place tonight.
I guess the boobs didn't help.
No, definitely didn't help.
At all.
Definitely didn't help tonight's, or at least at least in the Stanley Cup in the final so far. What makes this Florida team so dominant?
Their forecheck.
Yeah.
They're nasty on the forecheck. They have goons on the defensive front. They're not afraid to hit people. You have a guy who won a Stanley Cup in 2019, Vladimir Tarasenko, playing on the second or third line. Kind of depends on the matchups. And he has 2 goals already in the playoff. Well, 2 goals in the playoffs already. Won the finals. That definitely helps. You have all these veterans on this team that have either won a cup, been there, or just have the experience going deep in playoff runs. Whereas Edmonton, they have the 2 best players in the world. I don't care what anyone says. They're the 2 best players in the world. And it just seems like people getting banged up. Evander Kane's hurt. Corey Perry, I guess the streak continues.
Yeah, the way it looks. Is Evander Kane hurt, or is he just? I know he was he was scratched from the game tonight.
They're saying he's hurt. So apparently, I didn't notice this, but people were saying a lot for game 2 that he would sit down, and when he was about to get up to go into a shift, he would stand up for the first 3 minutes, then he'd go do his shift. So I think something is not right with him. Yeah. I think he might have got hurt probably game 1 and just didn't say anything. But that's a heavy piece because who do the Oilers have that can stop the Panthers' forecheck and or hit any of the Florida Panthers players? It just looks like the Panthers are just skating around. Yeah. They're not getting hit at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's some of the way, kind of what I saw. Maybe that was part of what it was. Is that the Florida forecheck and how fast Florida is in general, it outweighs how the Edmonton Oilers play. And we'll talk about the Oilers. They played momentum wise. The Oilers were a lot better of a team tonight. So that the third period, Florida really backed down from what they were doing in the first and second period, especially the second period. It was the first time they've been outscored in the third period in quite a while, if I believe right. They usually have the goal difference on their side in the third period. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I know the second period it was plus 10 in favor of Florida and -3 for the Oilers in the playoffs. So that second period has seemed to be the deterring factor in this series so far. You got this one here, you Panthers in 4. It's kind of looking like it. It's looking like that this might be a sweep. Don't want to for sure say that's what's going to happen, but there's a good possibility. Do you really think that could happen?
Yeah, their confidence I think is getting lost in sauce. It's kind of funny though because a lot of Ranger fans that I'm in for groups and all that on Twitter, they were saying that maybe we made the wrong choice in hiring Lafayette instead of Knobloch because Knobloch's in the finals, and I'm like, I don't think so. And it's kind of shown his inexperience here, whereas Paul Maurice has more experience. Alavi, the Hurricanes in 01-02, and then obviously last year with Florida, and then this year. So he has a lot of playoff experience, whereas Knobloch doesn't really have any. But it just kind of shows too in this. I don't know. I don't think they want to win at home. It doesn't seem like it because they would be doing a lot more.
Yeah, they want to get it. You think they want to get the series over with and just get to the off season and recoup.
I mean, nobody wants that, but it's just gonna happen because what's good about the Panthers, and we kind of talked about on Blue Shirts Banner. on CPNY Sports Network is the Panthers are so good at suffocating your best players.
Yeah.
And they're doing that with McDavid. They're doing it with Draisaitl. I mean, there were shots they were making that they would make in the regular season, but
Yeah.
the Panthers have Barkov is a very good defensive forward. The reason why he's a captain. Obviously, their first two lines before defensemen are just nasty, and Ekblad's been there forever. So they just know what they're doing. They just have the most experience because all it really is McDavid and Draisaitl and maybe a little Zach Hyman for playoff experience.
Yeah. This is the first I want to say, is it the first game where I thought I heard it earlier? It was the first game that the Oilers had scored a 5-on-5 goal. They haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal in quite some time because game 1 or game 2, their goal was a 4-on-4 goal.
Yep.
What's Edmonton got to do to just? I mean, they got to be better playing 5-on-5 hockey. You're not gonna. I mean, you're clearly not winning now, and it's you got to be better at 5-on-5 hockey.
I still think this was why I don't understand why they put this line out, but they need to put out the Draisaitl, McDavid, Rodney Hopkins line.
Yeah,
and Nuge has to be the center because you need to go full force in this game 4. So, you have to put out that line. I heard on 32 Thoughts Hockey Network they were saying that McDavid should just play every shift. He's got he'll take a break in 2 weeks. Just keep playing them for 60 minutes. Right. So maybe he has to do that, but it's looking a lot like Oilers of the past where it's only that first maybe 2 lines and then the rest of the lines are just nothing. Yeah. And I also heard too, I believe it was EJ Radick was saying that the bottom 6 of the Oilers can't compete with the bottom 6 of the Panthers, and that's what you kind of need the playoffs is those bottom 6 players to kind of step up, help out the superstars, the first 2 lines, and they're not doing it. The only team that's doing it is the Panthers.
Yeah. You get goals from Philip Broberg and Ryan McLeod tonight. I think it was McLeod's first goal in quite a while as well. But you also get a goal from Warren Fogle. We talked about it before. Is that if the Edmonton Oilers, we talked about on previous episodes of the 5-hole, that if the Edmonton Oilers wanted to even get to the Stanley Cup, that they were going to need better play from the guys who aren't Connor McDavid, who aren't Leon Draisaitl, who aren't Zach Hyman, and they got that tonight. They got 3 goals from guys who I wouldn't say don't necessarily score all the time, but don't necessarily score all the time. So what is important on the Edmonton side for them to keep that going? Obviously, you need goals from your top goal scorers outside of the goals from Fogle and McLeod and Broberg.
Well, I heard on the Barely Hockey podcast that they were saying that like a Broberg or even Darnell Nurse should just take out Bobrovsky and set the tone, and maybe
Corey Perry was trying to do that tonight.
But that was the Panthers' fault though. They thought they were going to get a penalty out of that. It was like, nope, you pushed right into him. But man, I don't know. I don't know if this Panthers team, Oilers team, it doesn't look like they really care, especially on the blue line. Like they're letting in goals that are easy, and maybe Leon Draisaitl will request for a trade. It's not like it's not uncommon, and not everybody wants to play in Alberta.
Just come to St. Louis, Leon. We'll fully accept you. Just come to St. Louis. You'll be fine. No. You'll love it here. We'll give you Jordan Kyrou. Don't worry.
He wants to go to a contending team. Contending is the word. But I'm just a loss for words of what this Oilers team can do because it just looks like they're running out of gas.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that they're it's getting to that point where it seems like they're running out of do not say Leon to the Colorado Avalanche, please.
No. We have enough problems. That's
please no. You're just gonna that'll hurt my soul. that happens.
That's like if Sidney Crosby went to the Avalanche.
I'd be better off with that than Leon Draisaitl to the Avalanche.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyways, I lost my train of thought now.
Well, you know what I will say though is that I don't know if anybody here in the chat or anybody that'll watch it later. The game 2 that me and the other Brandon were talking about is the highest guy that had the most shots on the team in game 2 was a third line defenseman
for the Oilers.
Yeah, for the Oilers, yeah. And like McDavid had 1, I think Draisaitl had 2. So I think maybe those guys need to have at least 5, 6 shots because again, like I said, the Panthers suffocate their best players,
right?
And was it Barkov has been stopping Victor Hedman, Artemi Panarin, David Pastrnak. Now Connor McDavid's getting entered into the conversation.
Yep.
Where they're not scoring any goals. I think the only one who was Pastrnak. Only has 1. I mean, you can't really. I don't really consider Panarin's because it was kind of the end of the game, but I mean, maybe McDavid just has to just keep shooting, and see what happens, and make sure to try to get into the middle of the zone when they're on power plays. Because the only way you're going to be able to crack through the Panthers D.
Right. Yeah, and they haven't scored a power play goal yet, and you're looking at that top ranked power play in the playoffs so far, and they haven't been able to crack the code yet on the power play.
And that's crazy. I think right now they're 5 for 33 or 36. Who? And I said it last show, but they're turning to the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
That was the same thing. The Rangers were hot in the power play. They met the Panthers, and I think at one point we were like 3 for 25. They're doing the same thing. Yeah. Like, I don't know what else this team can do besides what I just said is they need to start shooting more in the 5-hole.
Yeah.
Against Bobrovsky.
No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. Pun intended there. Yeah, you had 35 shots on goal. The face-off percentage was 48% for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. 0 for 3 on the power play, 6 penalty minutes. So they're playing a very disciplined game right now, which is you're doing everything right for the most part. You're just not getting things in the net, which is just awful. It's the worst feeling in the world.
I'm sorry?
It's got to be the worst feeling in the world to be in a game. You get 3 tonight, but it's still the worst feeling in the world right now that you can't score. You're having trouble scoring.
And when's the last time we've seen this in a Stanley Cup playoffs? Or at least the finals, I guess. It's been a while because
since we've seen a sweep.
Yeah, or just the way that this play has been going. Because I feel like it's been a while since we've seen a team like this just get absolutely obliterated.
I would probably say it would be the Kings Devils Stanley Cup Finals a couple years ago, or 10 years ago, I guess.
Oh yeah, 12 years ago. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see that. Yep.
That's one that would come to my mind pretty quickly. Would be that Kings Devils series. Maybe the Lightning Canadiens series. It's the weirdest thing to say. Lightning Canadian Stanley Cup Finals. That was.
Did we count that one though? That's bubble talk. I don't really consider that a Stanley Cup final. But
this is the weirdest thing ever. There was a off topic here, but there was a thing put out. It was I don't remember who put it out. I want to say it was Bar Down. They put out this graphic and stuff. It was like, who's the bet? Like it was the latest Western Conference champions. It was like you got Dallas and Colorado and St. Louis and Vegas and LA and Chicago. And then in the middle of all this, you see the Montreal Canadiens logo slapped right in the middle of things. It's so weird seeing the Montreal Canadiens as a Western Conference Finals team. Looking into game 4. What's Florida? What can Florida do just to close things out? Just to go ahead and put the dagger through the heart of the Edmonton Oilers.
Continue everything they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you saw it in games. I keep referring to it, and it's literally the same series. You saw it in game 6, the Eastern Conference Finals. Yep. They were up 1-0. They were just skating by. The Rangers were doing everything they could, and then Vladimir Tarasenko put that dagger in. He just put a nice little shorthanded goal. So I mean, all they will really have to do is just score maybe 2 goals. Just keep playing impeccable defense and stopping the Oilers on the power play.
Right.
And that's it. That's all they have to do. They don't have to do anything different. I wouldn't change up anything. As far as the Oilers, they need to start scoring on the power play.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that was their bread and butter through the entire playoffs was their special teams.
Oh, you're getting opportunities on the power play too. You had three tonight. Yeah, 3 or 4 the other night, and then at least 3 game 1.
Yeah, and they're shooting the puck, but again, they're just going around in circles. They don't hit that middle, and then the Panthers, like I said earlier, literally just like, okay, we're just gonna sit in the middle. Oh, Gabe 24601, what's going on? It's on the Blue Shirts banner, our review show the other night.
I said it at the beginning of the show. I was like, I thought the Edmonton Oilers played a better game than the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers got a little bit luck thrown their way with pucks going into the back of the net. And yes, just like it has been in game 1 and 2, Bobrovsky has just been absolute. He's been on it. There was shots earlier from McDavid that just it made McDavid look to the sky because he didn't know. He's like, I don't understand how that didn't go in the back of the net. And if you watch the play, it should have been in the back of the net. The best goal scorers, anybody at that rate, you could have thrown quite a few of the NHL players out there, of some of your top goal scorers, and that puck's going in the back of the net. And you watch it. I mean, it does taper off to the right a little bit, and it just happened to hit Bobrovsky right in the chest. So it just some of those things right now that aren't happening for the Edmonton Oilers that happened when they played Dallas, when they played Vancouver, as well. So yeah, I would say they were outplayed at least in the first and the third period. The Florida Panthers were outplayed in the first and the third period tonight.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And again, because I'm superstitious, I turned it off, and then I saw that it was 4-3. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep it off. Yeah, because they might come back, and then they did not.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bobrovsky's playing as good as Chris Osgood did in 2008.
Yeah, he's the first goalie to let in 1 or less goals in the first 2 games since Chris Osgood in 2008. So it's pretty impressive. Let me pull this one up here. Just Florida willing to play with fire and take the counter, knowing the Edmonton blue line on deep shifts can't handle the puck, especially in the ozone. You got to think that's going to have with the way the Edmonton defense doesn't necessarily press. You gotta throw the pucks in deep, and you got to get some pressure on the defenseman to make those turnovers. You saw it a little bit tonight. And you saw it in some of the previous games. You get the pucks in the corner, you get the pucks behind Stuart Skinner. You make the defensive guys have to stick handle their way out of things, make them turn the puck over. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Brandon, our co-host who couldn't be here tonight, so time to get the brooms ready. I don't know about that. I would not be surprised to see Edmonton kind of stick one to Florida a little bit, because I think they're going to come out a little fiery in game 4.
If Edmonton wins game 4 and they go down to Sunshine, can they make the comeback and possibly make it to a game 7? I mean, anything can happen, or will that just be one lucky game? Florida will just take the night off and say, you know what, let's go win down in Florida.
Let's go win at home. Yeah. I don't know. I thought the Edmonton Oilers were set up to win tonight. You get a home Stanley Cup final game for the first time since 2006. You know, things are set up for you and ready to. They're ready for you to win the game at home. And you know, they had the opportunity. And McLeod, in that third period when Edmonton was putting all that pressure on, you know, and they got those 2 goals too really quick. He had a pass that was a pass from McDavid and kind of went to the center of the ice there, and he just missed it. He got it. He got the puck, but you know, Bobrovsky happened to be at the right place at the right time, like he has been all series, and it just, you know, ricocheted off his pad. So Says Edmonton up, and if Edmonton is up in game 4, Florida will go ahead hunting Fogle. You think that's still bugging them, or that's not their concern?
No, if
Right?
they're up in the series. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about one guy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, both of these teams. You look at game 4. Both these teams are still, they're still very high scoring teams. They can put the pucks in the back of the net very quickly. And we saw that tonight, right before. He did score. He did score tonight. So yeah, adds that little bit of little I guess fire underneath things if that's the case. But again, if you're Florida, you don't care about that kind of stuff. You're there for one reason, and that's to win a Stanley Cup after the way things went last year for them. Their goal I wouldn't say is to get any more reputation than they probably already have as being that like hard-nosed team that nobody wants to play against and whatnot. So
when Florida wins, because now of course Florida's making me regret saying Oilers in 7. Do you think they should change the playoff format a little bit? Because I mean, we saw a lot of potential Western Conference Finals.
yeah,
Whether it was it was Vegas and
so Vegas, Dallas, Colorado,
and then so like whereas Edmonton, I don't want to say cupcake trail because there were injuries and stuff, but still, I mean, Dallas played the harder teams, and then they just kind of ran out, so to say, I guess.
right?
It's Edmonton, but
I don't mind the division style playoff rounds. I think it's added a little bit of, but I don't think it's worked out like the. Yes, yeah. I wouldn't say they played like trash tonight. They played a little bit, but I mean they had more control of tonight's game than we saw. I think in from game 1 and 2 compared to game 3, I thought this was a better game for the Edmonton Oilers. Again, it was just some bad luck. I mean, if you look at that, if Stuart Skinner doesn't, or they don't bobble that second goal by Tarasenko, that's a tie. It's a tie hockey game, 3-3.
yeah.
So, and those are the kind of things that just happen to be bouncing the right way for Florida, and that could change like that. It really could. I mean, we could see, you see that happening for Edmonton within, or in game 4. Back to what I don't know if I don't think it's necessary that they change the playoffs. I said that to myself tonight, like bring Cal Picard in for the game. Why not? I don't know if we necessarily need a new playoff format. I think it's okay. What I like about what I like about it is that it makes those rivalries a little bit more. So you obviously don't necessarily get some of them all the time, but like the little rivalry that St. Louis and Minnesota has now because of the playoff format. For example, like same thing with the Rangers and the Canes, that little bit of rivalry that you probably wouldn't have had 10 years ago, is there now. And I think that's what the NHL was trying to do in setting up this new division style format, this new playoff format. Do I think it's the right thing to do? I don't know. I liked 1 through 8, but I don't mind this playoff format either.
Yeah. I mean, we would probably be singing a different tune if it was like Colorado or Vegas. We wouldn't be saying anything.
Yeah, if it was the same teams every year going to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think it would be different. But it's that point where, yeah, it sucks if you're a Dallas Stars fan because you literally had to play 2 teams that could have easily won the Western Conference Final, and you're Edmonton. Looking at being in, on the Oilers side of things, you play LA, who barely snuck into the playoffs, and then you play a distraught Vancouver team, and then by the time you get to Dallas was done.
Yeah, like all their veterans are not like, I wouldn't say gas, but their veterans weren't really contributing was all the younger guys and Robertson and can't think right now.
Wyatt Johnson.
Yes, Wyatt Johnson. Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, but then again, hats off to the Panthers though. They went up against. I saw in the comments 3 top-notch goalies: Vasilevsky, Swayman, Igor, and now they can lick their chops because Stuart Skinner, he's not an elite goalie like them, and they're just having fun.
Yeah. Florida played one of the better teams or the hottest team in the league, Tampa, in the round 1. So,
oh yeah, I said that. I believe I said that on the 5-hole. I said if Tampa gets to the playoffs, that's going to be scary because they have just as much experience as this Panthers team.
Right. Yeah. Any final thoughts on game 3 as we headed to Saturday's? Is Saturday game 4, right?
Yes.
Stanley Cup will be in the house.
Oh man. I mean, the last time it was in the house there was 1990. When Mark Messier won the cup without Wayne Gretzky.
It wasn't there in 06 when the Canes and
no, because I think the Canes won at home.
Did they win at home?
I think so, right? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then say in the comments.
I think they won it.
But I'm pretty sure it was in Carolina.
I'll look really quick.
But my final thoughts though for going into game 4 is again the Oilers need to get some stuff going from their superstar players: Zach Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, Evander Kane. I don't know how hurt he is, but because again he didn't play this game, but he's gonna. If it's not too bad, he's gonna have to suck it up and play because they're gonna need him. I mean, Corey Perry. He's doing his job like he always does with playoff teams.
What, not win?
Yeah, not win. He's doing his job. He's just being a semi-goon out there. But
yeah.
But no, I don't think Picard should go in for the Oilers. You're too deep anyways with Stuart Skinner, so you might as well just ride the ride. And yeah, Bouchard is a sleeper sell for the Panthers. And Bouchard, I wanted in the draft. We drafted a guy who's not even on the Rangers anymore. And Bouchard was the next guy for the Oilers. He's been playing like straight dog, and not DAGG, but DOG. He's making sloppy plays with the puck. He's I think he let up two goals in game. No, and I let up the 1 goal in game 1. And I think he let up another one in game 2. But yeah, he's been playing sloppy, and just the whole blue line's been sloppy. And I said that in the game 2 post game with the other Brandon. This blue line is just straight trash.
Yeah, Edmonton, the Oilers blue line needs some help, and I'd imagine that's somewhere they're going to look for in the offseason after kind of recapping and whatnot. At least these 4 games, which is again still crazy. Carolina did win at home.
Yeah,
I don't believe the cup was in Edmonton at that time. So also they need to bring back the Stanley Cup logo because it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it'll show up here, but nope, not yet. No, it's not going to work. So it's really nice. It's really nice. Give me. I think if you look in game 4, you got to go Tkachuk. Give me Matty Tkachuk to be that difference maker. He started to be a little bit better in that third period. He's kind of quiet. Kind of quiet in game 1 and 2. He got an assist tonight in that game, but give me Matty Tkachuk to be the difference maker in game 4 for the Panthers, and for the Edmonton Oilers, it's got to be Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner's got to be. He's got to play better. He's got to play better. He can't let those silly little mistakes.
How much better can he play? He's doing everything he can.
There's always another level. There's always another level. There's got to be at this point. It's got to be. Yeah.
I think for me on the Panthers side, I'll say Sam Bennett. I'll say Sam Bennett. How about that? I really don't know who to call out on that team just because they're all kind of doing their jobs.
Yeah.
So I'll just say Sam Bennett, maybe, get some goals going. But I do think Sam Reinhart might get it going because he is especially good for power play goals.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get it going there. And for Edmonton, I'm just I'll call out Bouchard because we were kind of just talking about him. I'm calling him out because the blue line is straight terrible. he's supposed to be a franchise guy here. He's a hard hitter, and he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything to help this team. He's making Jacob Trouba look good. He's making Jacob Trouba look good.
Yeah.
I'm a Hampshire banner. Check that out. But Bob is a lock for Conn Smythe if they win. I think if they don't have Bobrovsky in this, I don't think they win it or get into the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, if Bob does, he gets the Conn Smythe, and that's an immediate lock for NHL Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And I'll just throw my final words. Appreciate everyone in the chat, whether it's Brandon, Gabe, the CFL Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Everybody. We appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate Matthew Davis. Appreciate you, Sean Mays, Beto. Appreciate everyone in the chat. It's so much better when people are in the chat and want to comment instead of just having us go back and forth. Appreciate everyone following the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, Variety Sports Network. There's other channels out there. Again, I didn't even watch the third period. I was watching the seventh inning stretch. Another Variety Sports show. So check out this network. It's good stuff. Good guys. And Gabe 24601. Yes, Rangers would have won in 6 or 7 against the Oil Squad.
Easily.
I think they would have.
I think they could have won in 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Again, just like Aaron said, appreciate everybody who jumped into the chat tonight. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it out to everybody. We really do appreciate the support and everybody tuning in to watch tonight's Game 3 post-game show right here on the Variety Sports Network. And we'll be back for Game 4 and what could be the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers by the end of the night. No jinx. Actually, let's just let's jinx it. Let's jinx the hell out of it. Why not?
We are superstitious sports fans.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot.
Let's have some fun with it. We'll see you next time, Saturday night, right here on the 5 on Variety Sports Network.